Yi Wusheng unexpectedly travels through the fantasy world, awakens the system of only one self, is born with a unique pulse, and is accompanied by the system, making him a reliable protagonist template. Who would have thought that the person who assassinated him was actually the son of Qi Yun? Am I actually a villain? My beloved is surrounded by the righteous path. As the holy son of the Immortal Sect, are you setting an example for the world, or are you enemies with the world? As the first Sword Immortal, are you returning justice to the world or fighting for your parents when your loved ones are imprisoned in a heavenly prison? No unfounded disaster, deep hatred in the sea of blood, intertwined love and hate. Are you living a humble life, or are you risking the world's great injustice to fall into the devil's way with me? Immortal Path, Demon Road. You don't even understand what a real demon is. The two poles of heaven and earth, the two extremes of good and evil, the demon god descended into the world, and I am the only one. Yi Wusheng looked at the gods in the sky with indifference. When there is no trace of fairness in this hypocritical world, then it destroys this world. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Yi Wusheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Firstly, we must not harm our fellow disciples. Secondly, we must not indiscriminately kill innocent people. Thirdly, we must not collude with demons and evil spirits. These are the 3 iron laws of our Immortal Sect. If anyone violates them, they will be severely punished. On a huge square, tens of thousands of young boys and girls stood in awe. The rolling sound scattered in all directions, fiercely hitting everyone's hearts like Huang Zhong de Lv. Tens of thousands of disciples trembled all over, their eyes showing awe. At the forefront of the square, an old man stands tall in the air, dressed in a white Taoist robe, with white beard and hair. His hands are carried behind him, and his body seems to be shrouded in clouds and mist, giving him a fairy-like appearance. Those 3 commandments are what this person said. Before everyone could react, the old man spoke again. Since you have passed the trial, it shows your resilience. From now on, you will be my named disciples of Immortal Sect. As soon as these words were spoken, the young men's eyes lit up and their faces were filled with uncontrollable excitement. Immortal Sect. This sect is undoubtedly the towering pillar of the entire Eastern domain. The strong in the door are like clouds, stomping their feet will make the entire eastern region tremble 3 times. It is the holy land of cultivation that countless practitioners dream of. Although he is only a named disciple, it is self-evident that his position is backed by such a powerful sect. And they can practice the method of body quenching, greatly improving their physical fitness. For most people, they have already embarked on the path of immortality. The rules of the Immortal Sect are strict, and the most basic named disciples can practice the basic martial arts of the Immortal Sect. Within a year, they can reach a certain level and become external disciples. External disciples are taught by the elders of the sect, and those who perform well can enter the 36 main peaks. These are called internal disciples. Only those who excel in the inner sect can become true disciples and formally become apprentices. There are tens of thousands of disciples from Immortal Sect, but there are only a few hundred true disciples, each of whom is a dragon and phoenix among the people, with unparalleled strength. This is also the foundation for any sect to establish itself, which requires both top-notch combat capabilities and successors. Cough. In the crowd, a young man hunched down and coughed lightly twice. I saw him dressed in linen, his face pale as paper, and his handsome appearance exuded a sickly weakness. The 2 small coughs did not attract much attention, and only a few glances were drawn to his appearance. This person's name is Yi Wusheng, and he was born with a broken pulse and unable to practice. Since childhood, I have been lonely and helpless. In order to seek the path of immortality, I visited famous mountains and coincidentally participated in the 3-year disciple selection of the Immortal Sect. After traveling for 7 or 8 years, Wusheng has relied on a forging technique to practice and has endured all the hardships to this day. The effect is also obvious. His physical strength has already reached the peak of the quenching state, but later he found some followed-up forging methods, but he still couldn't break the shackles, and his strength stayed here for 5 years. There are 2 purposes for entering the Immortal Sect. One of them is to seek the method of treating congenital pulse extinction, the second is to seek powerful forging techniques and break free from constraints. Unexpectedly, during the trial of the Immortal Sect, someone else injected a powerful energy into his body, destroying his internal organs and meridians. Wusheng is also a ruthless person who perseveres until the end of the trial. At the end, all the internal organs had already dried up, and with one breath, he had been hanging until now, but he couldn't escape the result of his death. At the moment when all their vitality was lost, Wusheng, who was far away from the blue star, crossed over and came with the same name and surname. Just crossed over, his weak body made him unable to resist coughing. I have actually traveled. Wusheng lowered his head and murmured, but then his expression changed greatly. This body you're about to hang up. Am I going to die again as soon as I cross over? Do you think my last sudden death didn't leave a deep impression on me? At this moment, the old man at the forefront waved his hand and a gentle gust of wind struck. Wusheng felt a burst of vitality penetrate his body, enveloping the damaged internal organs. Tens of thousands of young people were all wearing a look of enjoyment, and their exhaustion was swept away. Who? Wusheng let out a deep breath in his heart, and his life was saved. Although this vitality is weak, it is enough to save life. It is only a matter of time before relying on one strong physique to slowly recover. Just there shouldn't be any accidents either. Wusheng glanced at the young man at the forefront. The person was dressed in a white robe, standing tall and upright, exuding a sense of confidence all over his body. Lin Fan. Looking at his back, Wusheng's gaze was icy cold. It was this person who injected a strong energy into his own body, almost taking his life. No, it already took his life. As if sensing his gaze, Lin Fan turned around and glanced at him. Lin Fan raised his eyebrows, as if he had never expected that Wusheng was still alive. But that's all. In his eyes, Wusheng is not worth his effort again. Wusheng's gaze turned to another direction. That was a woman wearing a blue long dress, with a tall figure and a cool and ethereal temperament. Just looking at her back, Wusheng's mind came up with a cold and stunning face. Dongfang Qing'er. It's her. If she gave herself one more glance, then Lin Fan would take her life. Extremely domineering. After understanding the plight of the original owner, Wusheng felt mixed feelings in his heart. This is the perfect portrayal of the law of the jungle in the realm of practice. Ding. The only one's own system has been successfully bound. System. Wusheng's expression froze for a moment, followed by inner ecstasy, eager to open the system. Name. Wusheng strength. None, peak physical training in quenched body realm, qualification. Unpleasing to the eye divine power. None talent. None reputation value. 0, this panel is just as unattractive as his qualifications. What is the role of reputation value in the system? Reputation can increase cultivation, improve qualifications, cultivate supernatural powers, strengthen talents, and so on. The specific needs to be studied by the host themselves. The mechanized sound sounded, and Wusheng's heart trembled fiercely. Finally saved. The problem of being born with a broken pulse is about to be solved. How to obtain reputation values? Wusheng asked cautiously in his heart. There are multiple ways to obtain reputation values, and the most basic one is for others to generate strong emotions, such as respect, liking, etc. It can also be obtained through special tasks, and the specific details need to be studied by the host themselves. Generate strong emotions. Respected, like. Isn't it possible to gain reputation by pretending to be competitive? Wusheng felt secretly pleased in his heart. Traversing, born with no pulse, system, can become stronger by pretending to be stronger. A proper protagonist template. Listen to the name of the system. Only I stand alone. How domineering. Thinking of this, my heart was filled with passion. Ding. Detected the nearby son of Qi Yun. At this moment, the sound of the system rang out again. Wusheng was slightly stunned. The son of Qi Yun. Surprisingly not myself. Not right. Wusheng suddenly woke up. Am I a villain? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Divine Skills, another divine skill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System, am I the villain? His question received no response. Surprisingly, there is another son of luck in the proper protagonist template. Wusheng looked in the direction guided by the system, and two golden rays enveloped the two figures. Lin Fan and Dongfang Qing'er. As expected, two sons of luck. Is this just a natural confrontation? In later generations, Wusheng has read many similar novels, and the son of Qi and Fortune did not pass all the levels and ultimately achieve the supreme path. I am just a stepping stone on his path forward. Wu took a deep breath and slowly calmed down his emotions, his gaze gradually becoming firm. The revenge for killing oneself cannot be ignored. Do you want me to live a life behind you? Go play with eggs. What's the fear of someone who has already died once? Why is life joyful, and why is death painful? The law of the jungle, what are the righteous and villains? Only by respecting oneself is the way. The ridicule, disdain I received in my past and present lives flashed by like a movie, and then I was forever forgotten. Wusheng's thoughts were clear, and his whole body seemed to have sublimated. All the cowardly resistance emotions disappeared, and for a moment, a feeling of contentment and transparency arose. At this point, Wusheng has regained his life. Wusheng opened his eyes and saw a clear and bright scene inside. His entire aura suddenly changed, causing several people around him to look at him with suspicion. Ding! Congratulations to the host for understanding the true meaning of I am the only one and obtaining the beginner's gift pack. Novice gift package. Unexpectedly, there was an unexpected surprise, and with a thought, I began to check. Novice gift pack. 1. The body of the demon god. The two poles of heaven and earth, the two extremes of good and evil, the demon god descended into the world, and I am the only one. The extreme of things is a demon. Wusheng trembled all over, and a few simple words showed that the body of this demon god was a supreme path of cultivation. The extreme of things is a demon. Extremely arrogant. Do you now accept the body of the demon god? Upon hearing the sound, Wusheng snapped out of shock and quickly suppressed it. How much movement would such a strong physique cause? Especially under the righteous eye of the Immortal Sect, it is possible to attract a big shot and destroy oneself with a slap. After all, even a strong physique requires sufficient strength. Secondly, divine powers, the art of deduction. The host can deduce what will happen to a specific character in the next 5 minutes, only once a day. Wusheng's breath froze and his heart was hot. Unpredictable. This is simply a miracle. Did you comprehend? Wusheng hesitated for a moment and chose to comprehend. After all, although this deduction technique is outrageous, it is not considered a crooked path. Immediately after, a brand new insight suddenly flooded into my mind. Almost in an instant, Wusheng only felt that there were many mysterious and difficult to understand insights in his heart. With his strength, he could not understand them at all, and his eyes had an inexplicable depth. This mysterious feeling made him want to be addicted to it. Thirdly, talent, double the gain. The host can double any skill they have. It's another miracle. Isn't this saying that one's combat power can cause twice the damage? With this alone, one can achieve invincibility at the same level. Especially in the early stages of cultivation, there is not such a significant difference in strength, isn't it just a silent fight? Fourthly, talent, concealment. The strong keep silent, no one can detect reality and emptiness, and can conceal all of their own breath without any level restrictions. Add another divine skill. There is no level limit, so you don't have to worry about being discovered by the experts of the Immortal Sect when practicing magic skills. Wusheng just wanted to say. The system is amazing. If I can't achieve self-centeredness with these things, it's like living a lifetime in vain. The beginner gift pack consists of 4 items, each of which can be considered a divine skill. Wusheng opens the system panel. Name. Wusheng Strength. None, peak physical training in quenched body realm, qualification. Unpleasing to the eye divine power. The art of deduction talent. Double gain, hidden reputation value. 0, except for the demon god body, which has not been accepted yet, other divine talents have been added to the panel on their own. Wusheng's heart twitched. Can the system and innate powers be upgraded? Sure, it requires a lot of reputation values. More features in the future need to be researched by the host themselves. Sure enough. Talent and supernatural abilities can be upgraded, this system, newbie. So now there's only one question left, which is how to obtain reputation values. Although I am elegant and graceful, my own strength is too low, especially in this current state where my internal organs are damaged. If I force myself to pretend and then get targeted and beaten, I will really be doomed. By the way, the art of deduction. I still have such a divine skill, but I need to see what it's useful for. Wusheng looked at Lin Fan in front, his mind stirred, and he directly used the technique of deduction. Then use double the talent gain at the same time. Originally, we could only watch for 5 minutes, but now we can see what will happen to Lin Fan in the next 10 minutes. A picture slowly emerged from Wusheng's mind. As a named disciple of our Immortal Sect, each person receives a body-quenching technique for cultivation. 10 days later, the sect will undergo its first assessment, and those who excel can directly become external disciples. Others can only apply to become external disciples after reaching the peak of their quenching state. If they fail to reach this level within a year, they will leave on their own. This is the words of the Immortal Sect elder. Reaching the peak of quenching state within a year is not a problem for those geniuses, but it may not be possible for most ordinary people to achieve it. The practice of quenching the body environment is to refine muscles and bones, which requires the use of external forces to constantly polish oneself, and the suffering suffered can be imagined. Especially for these teenagers, although their resilience has passed the test, they are still children, and whether they can pass the test is still unknown. If it really takes a year to reach the peak of the quenching state, most of their qualifications are ordinary, but since the sect considers it this way, they naturally do not want to easily let any good seedlings go. After speaking, the elder waved his big hand and countless light clusters appeared in the sky, then disappeared straight into each young man's body. The cultivation method of the forging technique. This magical move once again excited those teenagers, who were amazed and full of fighting spirit. The old man nodded lightly as he was about to leave, only to see one person walking out of the crowd. I don't think you need to wait for 10 days. Chapter 3. I believe one should become a saint. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't think you need to wait for 10 days. The voice was loud and full of confidence. The speaker was none other than Lin Fan. Countless gazes converged upon him, even Dongfang Qing'er beside him gave him 2 extra glances. Lin Fan had a confident and composed face, a tall and upright posture, and a dignified demeanor. Although young, he had an extraordinary demeanor. This wave of appearance selling has won the favor of many people. Upon hearing this, the elder of Immortal Sect stopped and his gaze kept scrutinizing him. As if seeing something, the elder's expression softened before speaking softly. "How do you call this disciple?" Lin Fan clasped his fists and bowed in a respectful and unassuming manner. "Disciple Lin Fan." His voice echoed, and everyone remembered the name. Wusheng secretly thought to himself, truly worthy of being the son of luck, never miss any opportunity to show his face. The old man nodded lightly and said, "What should I do according to what you said?" Lin Fan stood up straight, with a strong tone of confidence. "I'm not talented, so I want to apply to join the outer sect today." After speaking, the peak strength of the Qi refining realm was revealed, and the young man beside him was captured by his momentum, with a look of surprise on his face. Among these tens of thousands of young people, there are many children from aristocratic families who have been practicing since childhood, and it is not uncommon for them to achieve such achievements at the age of 10. But he has a calm and introverted aura, as if his foundation is very solid. The old man remained silent upon hearing these words. Arrogant. At this moment, a rough shout came and a muscular man stepped forward. The person first arched and clenched their fists at the elder, and then stared at Lin Fan with an unpleasant expression. The Immortal Sect is the orthodox heavenly way with strict rules. How could you break the rules just because of you? Lin Fan glanced at him and then spoke faintly. Because I am stronger than you. The young man sneered with a hint of mockery on his face. Then I have to ask for some advice. As he spoke, the young man took a large knife from behind and stood aside, casually moving his muscles and bones, clearly not intending to use weapons. I advise you to pick up your weapon. Lin Fan spoke lightly again. Upon hearing these words, anger appeared in the young man's eyes. Enough to deal with you. As he spoke, the young man's momentum spread throughout his body, and he was also at the peak of his Qi refining realm. Lin Fan turned around and slowly extended a finger. The young man was taken aback and frowned. One move. Lin Fan's voice rang out. This statement startled the whole audience. The boy across from him blushed even more, obviously not expecting the other party to humiliate him so much. Arrogant. After holding it for half a day, the young man only said one sentence, and then his muscles tightened instantly, and he stomped heavily under his feet and rushed out. The strong wind brought about a series of color changes for the audience on the side. So fast. What a strong strength. Lin Fan is too arrogant, it seems he will suffer a big loss. Whispers echoed around him, but Wusheng let out a deep sigh. Undoubtedly the son of luck. This kind of plot is usually beaten up by the protagonist and then shocked by everyone. Then, the sect elders discovered something unusual and made an exception to admit him. The routines are all the same, it seems that the boy will be unlucky. In the field, Lin Fan held his breath and focused as he watched the young man rush towards him, and then with a punch. Bang! The two fists intersected, and a scorching wave of energy scattered in all directions. The young man's face changed greatly, and his strong force directly made him fly backwards. Puff! The young man lay on the ground, with a mouthful of blood spurting out, his fist flushed with disbelief on his face. How? Maybe. One move to instantly kill at the same level. The whole scene was completely silent. A look of surprise flashed in Dongfang Qing'er's eyes beside her. Even the elder of the Immortal Sect's eyes lit up with a hint of satisfaction on his face. The scene in Wusheng's mind ends here. There's no need to look at the back, Lin Fan's breaking into the outer door is already a nail in the nail. That young man is naturally a stepping stone to his success. 10 minutes passed by in a blink of an eye, but it was only a fleeting moment outside. It's like Wusheng suddenly imprinting these plots as memories in his mind. He must not be allowed to make such a name for himself. This is the only thought in Yi Wusheng's mind. If he is allowed to break through and enter the outer door as he wishes, his own cultivation will fall one step behind. Moreover, Lin Fan is the son of Qi Yun, and his future growth rate will inevitably be terrifying. Yi Wusheng doesn't want to leave such a hidden danger for himself. But Lin Fan's strength is there, it's not easy to stop him. As a named disciple of our Immortal Sect, each person receives a copy of the body-quenching technique for cultivation. At this moment, the voice of the Immortal Sect elder sounded, no different from what he had previously seen, not a word wrong. Yi Wusheng's gaze fixed and his mind turned 100 times. At this moment, countless light clusters emerged, and with a wave of his hand, the elder of the Immortal Sect disappeared into the human body. After finishing these, the elder turned around and was about to leave, and Lin Fan took a slight step forward. I don't think you need to wait for 10 days anymore. A loud voice rang out, and everyone's gaze turned towards it. Even the elders stopped and stared straight at Yi Wusheng. That's right, he said that. Lin Fan turned around, with a hint of confusion in his eyes. Why does it seem like? It's my line. Speak up. The elder's face was cold and stern, and he didn't even bother to ask his name. This is the gap in qualifications. Yi Wusheng arched his hand and clasped his fist, then spoke loudly. The selection of immortals is just to select outstanding disciples. If they meet this condition, why can't they be admitted out of the ordinary? The elder looked up and down at Yi Wusheng, his face calm. It's not easy for you to persist until now, but if you want to break the rules and be admitted, it's not enough. The elder's tone is beyond doubt. In his eyes, Yi Wusheng was just a waste who passed the trial by chance, but was destined to withdraw after a year. The disciples' dull qualifications are naturally not enough. Yi Wusheng paused slightly, then turned his gaze to Lin Fan in front. But in my family, I have inherited the art of recognizing people, and the person I recommend must be an unparalleled genius. Yi Wusheng casually fabricates. The elder furrowed his brows, seeming impatient. Just as he was about to start scolding, Yi Wusheng spoke first. Whether it's the elder or not is easy to tell at a glance. As he spoke, Yi Wusheng reached out and pointed to Lin Fan ahead, shouting loudly. This son is the son of Qi Yun, a peerless heavenly pride favored by heaven. His name is Lin Fan. Everyone looked in the direction of his fingers and saw that Lin Fan's face was stunned and confused. Although I consider myself a proud person, it always feels strange to say it from this guy's mouth. The elder looked at Lin Fan with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. Not bad, not bad. I don't know if it's praising Lin Fan's qualifications or praising Yi Wusheng's technique of recognizing people. I saw Yi Wusheng full of energy, waving his big hand. Lin Fan has outstanding talent and strong strength. I believe he should be promoted to the position of the Holy Son of the sect on an exceptional basis. Chapter 4. Reputation Value, Received. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I think we should make an exception and be promoted as the Holy Son of our sect. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience fell silent, watching Yi Wusheng one by one as if he were looking at a fool. Immortal Sect. The Holy Son of the sect. It can be said that it represents the face of the entire Eastern domain. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Countless system prompts sounded, and Yi Wusheng's heart was filled with joy. This wave made me pretend. Lin Fan trembled all over and looked incredulously at Yi Wusheng behind him. This is not recommending him, it is definitely harming him. Reputation value +10. Yi Wusheng looked at Lin Fan, the son of Qi Yun was different, with so many reputation values given to him. Everyone's gaze was fixed on Lin Fan, filled with a look of suspicion. This person is so bold. Sect Saint, are you sure you have that strength? He looks quite handsome, why is his brain not working well? The disciples beside him instinctively kept away from Lin Fan, as if trying to draw a clear line with him. He. The muscular young man not only had no intention of taking action this time, but also sneered. If it were an external disciple, he might still try to fight for it, but the holy son of the sect. He doesn't want to wade in this muddy water. The elder was momentarily stunned, then his eyes burned with anger. The holy son of the sect holds a higher position than him, yet this son actually promotes Lin Fan to become the holy son in public. It's simply a slippery trick in the world. Bold. The elder let out a loud shout, and his aura spread out. The terrifying pressure directly enveloped everyone. If this is heard by someone with ulterior motives, it may not be a charge of rebellion. The elder looked back and forth at Lin Fan and Wusheng with unfriendly eyes. I don't have it. Under the terrifying pressure, Lin Fan trembled and explained, his face full of panic. If you are hated by the Holy Son for this matter, just slap yourself and you will be destroyed. I cannot bear the charge of contempt for the Holy Son. Puff. He was already seriously injured, and Wusheng spewed out a mouthful of blood, making his breath even weaker. The elder was just to deter, so he didn't really take the lives of the two people. The position of the holy son of the sect is respected. If there is another time, he will definitely be executed without mercy. The elder snorted coldly, shook his sleeve and robe, and left without even looking at the two of them. The slightest fondness for Lin Fan that had just risen in my heart was completely gone. The elder left, and the pressure that enveloped everyone also disappeared. Many people next to him looked at them with pity, their gloating in their eyes not concealed. Sect Saint, TSK. Courage is commendable. Worship. A series of mockery rang out, and Lin Fan's face was extremely ugly. Wusheng's face was pale but his eyes were full of anger. That's enough. Wusheng shouted with all his might, then scanned the crowd and made a loud noise. Swallows and sparrows know the aspirations of swans. Everyone was taken aback and then gave thumbs up one after another. Don't understand. Bully. The pattern is too small. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Great. It turns out that not only are you pretending to be coerced, but using someone else to pretend to be coerced is also satisfying. Lin Fan approached Wusheng with a face as heavy as water. Reputation value +99. Wusheng's eyes narrowed slightly. With so much reputation, is this a move of killing intent? Lin Fan reached out as if trying to help him, but Wusheng tried his best to dodge backwards. Seeing this, Lin Fan did not persist any longer. After all, if someone died in front of everyone, it would be difficult for him to explain. I remember you now. Lin Fan spoke lightly, then gave him a deep glance and turned to leave. Seeing him slowly walking away, Wusheng slowly walked in the opposite direction. The Immortal Sect occupies a vast area of mountains, and the small wooden houses for named disciples to practice are one by one. Before Wusheng arrived at a wooden house, there was a transparent barrier above it. He put his hand on it, and then the forging technique inside his body seemed to be sensed. The space in front of him trembled slightly, and then he opened a gap, and Wusheng stepped in. A small wooden room with only one bed inside and nothing else. Although the environment was a bit rudimentary, fortunately no one bothered. Wusheng sat cross-legged on the bed and couldn't wait to open the system panel. Name. Wusheng Strength. None, peak physical training in quenched body realm, qualification. Unpleasing to the eye divine power. The art of deduction talent. Double gain, hidden reputation value. 5168, a reputation value of over 5,000. Indeed, many people are awesome. Wusheng was extremely excited and after some thought, he decided to adjust his body state to the best. Can the injuries on the body be treated? System. Based on the current host strength, treating injuries requires the consumption of 1 reputation point. Wusheng said, Why don't you just call me a waste? Treatment. Ding. Consume 1 reputation point. As the words fell, Wusheng suddenly felt a powerful force of vitality surge out of his body, rapidly repairing his 5 organs and 6 internal organs, as well as his 8 meridians. However, in just a few breaths, Wusheng's injuries all over his body healed and his face returned to a normal rosy complexion. Is that all for now? Wusheng looked at his hands hesitantly, feeling the renewed power on them, and at one point had an unreal feeling. Just now, I was on the brink of death, but in just a few breaths, I became lively and lively. Wusheng stood up and moved his body. Take a slow breath and finally survive. This is a walk through the gates of hell. At this moment, Wusheng's eyes suddenly widened. He felt a hint of drifting air in the air. Is this about to break through? Is it? Wusheng quickly checked, and after a while, he looked up in shock. My own meridians have been repaired. Is this how the problem that has been troubling you for so many years has been solved? Wusheng's breathing was rapid, unable to conceal the excitement in his heart. Although I guessed that the system might have a solution, I still couldn't control my emotions when it actually happened. This is my only hope for so many years. A smile slowly appeared on Wusheng's face. The son of Qi Yun is really a good thing. Chapter 5. Fusion, the body of the demon god. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the square, Lin Fan also found a small wooden house. He has already passed the quenching state and does not need to refine his body like other disciples. After 10 days, he will join the external sect directly. The peak strength of the Qi refining realm can be further strengthened to build a foundation. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. In the room, Lin Fan gritted his teeth and had a fierce and murderous aura all around him. If it weren't for Wusheng's disturbance, he would have become an outsider disciple by now. As for the Holy Son, of course he wants to do it, but that also needs to be considered after his strength is strong. Fanner. At this moment, a majestic voice sounded. Lin Fan immediately quieted down, then stood respectfully on the side, holding his hand and chest. Master. But a person who is naturally cut off from your pulse can make you so angry. With such a heart and nature, how can you achieve great things? The majestic voice carried a hint of reproach. I admit my mistake. Lin Fan has a respectful attitude. Hey, young man's nature. The voice let out a faint sigh, and then the conversation changed. So the Oriental girl can have more contact and interaction. I believe it will be a great help for you in the future. I'll obey you, disciple. Lin Fan completely calmed down, neither sad nor happy, and then sat cross-legged to exercise and breathe. On the other hand, Wusheng was caught in a dilemma. The body of the demon god presented such a great gift right in front of him, but he dared not accept it rashly. He was afraid of causing even the slightest disturbance to attract the attention of the sect, but there were millions of miles around here within the territory of the Immortal Sect, so there was probably no safe place. If he were to leave the sect at this moment, he would be a bit reluctant, after all. It's too easy for Immortal Sect to obtain reputation points. Can the system and the art of concealment really conceal the fluctuations of the demon god's body? No level of strength will notice it. Yes. The system's answer is simple and straightforward. This is already the 8th time he has asked. I don't blame him for being so careful. It's really a matter of great importance, and a small mistake would result in losing his life. With a firm determination, Wusheng sat cross-legged without hesitation, with a thought in his heart. Accept the body of the demon god. At the same time, the technique of concealment dissipated, and if there were any fluctuations, he would definitely be the first to escape the sect. As the words fell, Wusheng appeared calm on the outside, but his body was filled with a huge shock. A terrifying ancient aura instantly filled the body, and soon it was completely enveloped. Boom! Wusheng's head sank and he instantly fainted. Not long after, Wusheng woke up leisurely and stood in the same place, surrounded by darkness, with no light in sight. Where is this? Wusheng murmured to himself and took a few steps forward, silent. At a distance of 100 zhang, an invisible barrier blocked the way ahead. Is this the boundary now? Ha! Wusheng looked down, as if he could see his entire body. Every bone, every muscle, every meridian is clearly visible. Wusheng's pupils suddenly contract. Is it? This is sure high. Will one's own strength not improve so terrifyingly? In the current realm of cultivation, there are 3 levels of cultivation. Lower 3 realms, quenching body, refining gas, building foundation Zongsanjing, Jindan, Yuanying, Huashan. Upper 3 realms, refining void, Mahayana, crossing calamity. The lower 3 realms are the realm of laying a foundation, and the more solid the foundation is, the more advantageous it is for later development. Of course, this foundation needs to be considered from many aspects, including personal physique, qualifications, cultivation techniques, and so on. Refining muscles and bones in the quenched body realm enhances physical strength. The peak of the quenched body realm has already reached 1,000 pounds of strength, far exceeding that of ordinary people. Once you step into the realm of refining qi, bring spiritual energy into your body, expand the 8 extraordinary meridians, and continuously refine your body, it can be considered as truly stepping into the path of cultivating immortality. The improvement of physical fitness is far beyond the comparison of quenching physical environment, and spiritual power can also be used to fight against enemies, causing damage that is not caused by brute force. That's why Lin Fan's spiritual power can easily destroy Wusheng's internal organs by penetrating his body, not on the same level. Until a certain amount of spiritual energy is stored in the body, all meridians are opened up, and a cycle of heaven can be completed within the body, then one can step into the realm of foundation building. Building a foundation environment will form a sea of qi in the dantian area of the body, which is good for storing one's own spiritual power. The level of a person's strength is directly related to the size of their aura. The stronger the physique of a cultivator, the greater their aura, and the more spiritual energy they naturally store, making them more durable during battles. The reason why Wusheng was so shocked is that opening up the sea of consciousness is exclusive to cultivators in the realm of transforming gods. Transforming the divine realm opens up a sea of consciousness, achieving 6 senses and giving birth to divine consciousness. The coverage of divine consciousness is very extensive, which can detect both reality and emptiness, and can also fight against enemies, making it difficult to defend. Accepting a demonic body, won't you suddenly step into the realm of transforming gods? Isn't that a bit boring? Wusheng thought so, but his face wore an indescribable smile. At the same time, his body was undergoing earth-shattering changes. The meridians, blood, flesh, bones, and even the 5 organs and 6 viscera are as if reshaped. There are many people like Wusheng sitting in the room at the mountain gate, but those people are all capable of completing body quenching and breaking through the realm of qi refining. Squeak. The door opened and Lin Fan changed into a green shirt, his expression regaining his previous confidence and determination. Lin Fan walked out the door and soon came to a small wooden house. With a sunny smile on his face, he spoke loudly. I'm Xia Lin Fan, pay my respects to Miss Dongfang. This is exactly where Dongfang Qing'er resides. Lin Gongzi, what's up? The door did not open, but a cold voice came out. Miss Dongfang, Lin is not a person of Menglang. Today's event. Lin Fan was about to speak when he felt a wave of heat sweeping towards him. Lin Fan's expression changed, and then he didn't want to just step back. Boom. A red train directly bombarded the position where he had previously stood. Dust is flying, leaving a large pit on the ground. At the same time, a woman dressed in red stepped into the air. Walking in the sky, cultivator of the golden elixir realm. Lin Fan was startled and looked up at the visitor. Why do girls hate each other from the same family? The woman had picturesque eyebrows and eyes, a graceful posture, and a hint of allure, but her face was filled with hidden anger. Are you Lin Fan? The woman's voice was crisp, but she didn't answer any questions. Lin Fan narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "It's me." "What do you call this?" "Senior sister." "You don't deserve to know." The woman let out a cold snort, showing her haughty demeanor. Lin Fan lowered his head, and a hazy color flashed through his eyes. What kind of misunderstanding is there? The woman's gaze was not kind, she looked up and down at Lin Fan, and then sneered. Do you want to be the holy son of this immortal sect? Chapter 6. Upgrade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Fan finally understood what was going on with this person. It seems that the news of this morning has already reached the inner door. This is a misunderstanding. I was framed. Lin Fan raised his head and stared at the woman with a burning gaze. The woman frowned and then her gaze met Lin Fan's gaze, instantly infuriating. What are you looking at? The woman gave a coquettish scolding, then flipped her wrist, and a red horse training burst out. Pop. Lin Fan didn't expect this person to be so domineering. If he didn't agree, he would directly take action, unable to avoid being pulled on the back by the red horse training. The clothes on the back cracked open, and a blood mark on the back was shocking. Obviously, the woman in red only wanted to punish him and did not take any serious action. Lin Fan's face was gloomy, obviously extremely angry, which was a great humiliation to him. Dare to covet the position of the Holy Son, it's worth fighting. It is only natural for the woman to give a cold shout. Lin Fan slowly lifted his head and forcefully suppressed the anger in his heart. I said, I was framed. The woman ignored his attitude completely and spoke indifferently, who is that? Nature is. Lin Fan was momentarily speechless, he didn't even know the other person's name. Today, Wusheng only mentioned Lin Fan's name, but did not mention himself. So many disciples know Wusheng but do not know his name. Seeing him unable to speak, the woman in red glared with beauty. You dare to lie to me. You can easily ask about this matter, how can I deceive you? Just thinking about it, the woman in red didn't take action. By the way, Lin Fan suddenly remembered that during the trial, Dongfang Qing'er had a brief contact with that person, perhaps she should know. Miss Dongfang, do you know the name of the person who framed me? Lin Fan shouted towards the wooden house. His words have two meanings. Dongfang Qing'er knew best and said that the person happened to let this hot woman find him trouble. If you don't know, it's okay. You've already claimed to be framed, so regardless of whether you answer yes or no, you can wash away your charges completely. In the room, Dongfang Qing'er's eyebrows furrowed slightly, and there was a hint of impatience in her eyes. After a moment of silence, he spoke softly, I don't know. Lin Fan did not doubt that he was there, and then he clenched his fists at the woman in red. When I find this person, I will definitely give the Holy Son an explanation. So it seems that you really don't want to be a saint. The woman in red never directly answers his questions, which shows his arrogance. I dare not. Lin Fan clenched his fists again. Humph. With a cold snort, the woman in red stepped out of the air. If you want to seek revenge, come to Wuling Peak and find me. Wuling Peak. One of the 30.6 main peaks, it seems that the woman is at least an inner disciple. Lin Fan's gaze darkened before returning to his own cabin. Bullying people too much. Bullying people too much. Bullying people too much. Boom. Lin Fan's palm shattered the bed. In another wooden house, Dongfang Qing'er sat cross-legged on the bed, waiting for Lin Fan to leave before opening her eyes. A strange radiance flashed in the cold eyes. It seems that you have caused yourself trouble. Yi Wusheng. 3 days later Yi Wusheng exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and slowly opened his eyes. Clear and profound eyes, with a thought, the whole wooden house was in full view, even the ants crawling on the ground could be seen clearly. He did indeed open up a sea of consciousness, which is 100 zhang in size. The scale of this sea of consciousness is comparable to that of a cultivator in the realm of transforming gods. But his cultivation has not made any progress. Yi Wusheng lowered his head and saw a thick layer of black material covering his entire body, emitting a foul odor. Are these impurities excreted through physical improvement? And are they excreted by my physical constitution after reaching the peak of my quenching state? Yi Wusheng murmured to himself. It seems like he was really a waste before. In the future, he realized that it was not because he was too useless, but because this demon god body was too rebellious. The reason why his previous qualifications were rated as unattractive by the system is still due to his innate bloodline. If it were only about his body, his physique would also be outstanding. With a gentle shake, the impurities fell off, revealing the pristine white skin inside, like a newborn baby. Let's take a shower as a traveler. If Yi Wusheng doesn't take a shower, he will feel very sad in his heart. Fortunately, there is a pool behind the wooden house. Puff. Yi Wusheng plunged in with a fierce thrust. After a full hour, Yi Wusheng, who had tidied up neatly, changed into a new linen clothes. There's no way, wandering for so many years is just this condition. Named disciples do not have a unified attire in their sect because they are in the state of quenching body. Dressed neatly, Yi stood without growth. With a jade crown on his face, a tall and upright posture, and a handsome appearance, his eyes are as deep as stars. His long hair is casually tied behind his head, adding a touch of carefree and unrestrained personality. With a casual wave of his fist and a feeling of countless times stronger than before, Yi Wusheng smiled with satisfaction. This is the advantage of having a strong physique. Even if there is no improvement in strength, Yi Wusheng is very confident. He used to be unable to even take a punch from himself now. Open the system panel. Name. Yi Wusheng strength. None qualification. Demon God Body Divine Power. The Art of Deduction Talent. Double Gain, Hidden Reputation Value. 5168, Yi Wusheng smiled knowingly, his qualifications were no longer unattractive, but his strength column became nothing. What is my strength at the peak of my quenching state? Do we need to practice again to improve our physical fitness? Yi Wusheng didn't think much, after all, his own strength increase is real. System, how much reputation value is needed to enhance strength? To upgrade to the first level of the quenching state, you need a reputation value of 2. 2 o'clock. This upgrade is too easy. Yi Wusheng did not hesitate at all and directly consumed 2 points of reputation to enhance his strength. Boom. In an instant, Yi Wusheng clearly felt that his physical body was once again elevated. The upgrade has been completed in just a few seconds. Feel the power within your lower body, your strength has at least doubled. This is the strength of the demon god body. He now feels like the peak of the so-called quenched body state before can be pressed down with just one finger. Moreover, there is no discomfort in the body, as if these abilities have been cultivated through hard work, without any sense of superficial or stagnant foundation. Will continuously upgrading with reputation leave any sequelae? No way. Damn it. Reputation value .2. Reputation value .2. Reputation value .2. Chapter 7. Crazy Upgrade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Name. Yi Wusheng Strength. 9 levels of quenched body realm qualification. Demon God Body Divine Power. The art of deduction talent. Double gain, hidden reputation value. 5150, spending 18 reputation points, in just a quarter of an hour, Wusheng's strength has reached the 9th level of the quenching state. Feeling the surging power within his body, Wusheng fell silent. The body of the demon god is so terrifying. His upgrade has no intention of stopping. When accepting the body of the demon god, Wusheng engraved a cultivation technique in his mind: Demon God's Decision. The name is simple and straightforward, and it is a cultivation technique specially tailored for the body of the demon god. Its power can be imagined. Breaking through the realm of refining gas requires consuming 20 reputation points. Breakthrough. Boom. A terrifying spiritual wave ravages the body, but unlike other people's spiritual power, his spiritual power. Pitch black. It is easy to tell at a glance that it is not a good type. The body of the demon god has a terrifying devouring power. Even if one cultivates oneself, they will leave others far behind. But he dared not reveal the secret of his cultivation of magic skills at all. If it weren't for the system's incredible hidden talent, even the Immortal Sect leader would have to be on high alert now. Wusheng closed his eyes tightly and slowly fell silent. Reputation value 0.20. Reputation value 0.20. Reputation value 0.20. Time slowly passed by, and after more than an hour, the 9th level of Qi refining realm. If someone knew Wusheng's breakthrough speed, they might have startled his chin on the spot. Even the most demonic genius would take several months to refine his Qi from the 1st level to the 9th level. It's unheard of him to break through from the quenching state to the 9th level in less than 2 hours. Breaking through the foundation building environment requires a consumption of 200 reputation points. Wusheng opened his eyes, which were pitch black and deep, exuding a mysterious fluctuation. Are we going to build the foundation so soon? Lin Fan. Even if he is the son of Qi Yun, at most he can build a foundation. Even if Wusheng fights beyond his level, he still has full confidence. Upgrade. Reputation value 0.200. As 200 reputation points were deducted, Wusheng's spiritual power, or more precisely, his magic, began to run wildly and continuously converged towards the direction of the Dantian. Boom. Almost without any shackles, the sea of Qi instantly takes shape, and then a huge source of magic continuously converges within it. It took a full half-hour for Wusheng's realm to completely stabilize. Building a foundation is crucial. Wusheng looked at Dantian's sea of Qi and felt a bit lost. Is someone else's aura so big? Isn't it true that the newly broken sea of Qi is only the size of a fist? Why does my look like a sea? The pitch-black sea of Qi, with magic surging in it, carries a strong pressure, making one feel a deep fear upon seeing it. Wusheng secretly lost his mind. Not right. Suddenly, Wusheng finally figured out where the problem lay. Talent. Double gain. From the beginning of cultivation, the system includes the double gain effect. So when I actually practice, I always practice twice as much as others. Every breakthrough in a small realm is twice the quality, and the next one is twice the quality. In fact, one's own strength has already reached 4 times. Although the improvement of strength is related to various factors and cannot be generalized, and the breakthrough of the great realm is a qualitative change, the increase in strength cannot be calculated, but the general logic is like this. Having accumulated one small realm after another, has one already surpassed others by so much? Thinking of this, Wusheng suddenly became interested. Now it's twice the gain. If we can increase it further, isn't it easy to catch someone by jumping over the level and killing them? How to upgrade talents with double gain in the system. Upgrading to double the buff talent requires a consumption of 10 reputation points. Upgrade. Reputation value 0.10. Ding. Gain talent, triple the gain. Continuing to upgrade requires 100 reputation points. Upgrade. Reputation value 0.100. Ding. Gain talent and gain 4 times the boost. Continuing to upgrade requires 1000 reputation points. Looking at his remaining reputation of over 4000, Wusheng didn't hesitate and said, upgrade. Ding. Gain talent and gain 5 times the boost. Continuing to upgrade requires 10,000 reputation points. Alright, now, the reputation value is not enough. 5 times the gain is already a terrifying value. Continue to improve your strength. Breaking through to the second level of building foundation requires a reputation value of 500. Sure enough. Wusheng laughed, I want to see how big this sea of energy can be. Close your eyes tightly. Wusheng begins to become dull and uninteresting. Crazily elevating. After the talent enhancement, even the time required for breakthrough has increased significantly. In half a day, Wusheng had just risen from the first level of the foundation construction realm to the 8th level of the foundation construction realm. It takes such a long time to break through a foundation construction environment, so what will happen in the future? Wusheng secretly harbored slander in his heart. If the elders in the door hear his words, I don't know if they will slap him to death. Name. Wusheng strength. Building a foundation with 8 elements qualification. Demon God body divine power. The art of deduction talent. 5 times increase, hidden reputation value. 160, looking at the refreshed attribute panel, Wusheng smiled with satisfaction. Breaking through to the 9th level of reputation is no longer enough. It takes 5,000 reputation points to reach the golden elixir stage. He is now poor and unable to rise. How much reputation does it take to upgrade the system's inference technique? Looking at the reputation value of over 100, it doesn't have much effect on him now. This is the beginning, and the reputation value needed in the future is probably an astronomical number. Need 10 reputation points. Upgrade. Ding. Obtain divine powers, inference technique, level 2. Continuing to upgrade requires a consumption of 100 reputation points. Upgrade. Ding. Obtain divine powers, inference technique, level 3, continuing to upgrade requires a consumption of 1000 reputation points. Divine power, inference technique, level 3, the host can randomly view a person's events in the next 30 minutes, limited to 3 times a day. 30 minutes, under the 5 times buff talent, isn't it 150 minutes? Blood earned. Being poor is a bit poor, but the harvest is quite abundant. Name. Wusheng strength. Building a foundation with 8 elements qualification. Demon God body divine power. Inference technique, level 3, talent. 5 times increase, hidden reputation value. 50, squeak. Wusheng opened the door and stood tall with a warm smile on his face. At this moment, he was completely transformed. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. The White Lotus of the Virgin Mary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are still 5 days left for the selection of the sect. The top priority now is to change into a new outfit. Wusheng thought to himself. After all, people rely on clothing, and in order to gain a reputation in front of many disciples, a good image is also crucial. Stepping out the door, Wusheng's breath was restrained, his spiritual consciousness was restrained, and he could not feel any spiritual power fluctuations. I turned around and came to a house outside the mountain gate. Although this house is also made of wood, it is much larger than where they live. Entering the hall, there were many people in the room, and at the front were 2 disciples of the sect dressed in white robes. Wusheng saw at a glance that those 2 people were just small cultivators in the qi refining realm, probably just external disciples. Senior brother, there are a few unclear aspects of this cultivation method. Please give me some guidance. As soon as he entered the hall, Yi Wusheng saw a timid young man standing in front of two disciples seeking advice. Looking at his expression, he was very nervous, and the group of young people behind him were also eagerly waiting, thinking it was the same problem. Practice as others do. One of them waved his hand impatiently. This. The young man's face turned red, but he couldn't say a word. Seeing that he hadn't left yet, the disciple let out a cold snort. What are you doing around here? You don't need to practice. For external disciples, these named disciples are simply not considered disciples. It's not certain whether you can enter the outer gate in a year, and even if you do, you'll have to call me senior brother honestly. As for geniuses. How could a genius ask these questions? This is also the reason why they are fearless. Wherever there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Yi Wusheng shook his head, but he didn't intend to get involved. He is the villain, not the virgin. Ding. Detected the son of Qi Yun. A hint came to Yi Wusheng's mind. How could you speak like that? At this moment, an angry and coquettish roar came. Immediately after, a young girl rushed in, glaring angrily at the two outer disciples. I saw that the woman had a petite figure, but her facial features were quite delicate, and she had already achieved 7 levels of cultivation in refining qi. It seems that she was born well. Isn't the sect letting you stay here to guide these disciples? Look at your attitude. Everyone nodded as soon as they heard, but no one dared to speak up. The two outer disciples frowned slightly, as even if one of them wanted to shout out in anger, they were pulled by the person next to them. The person shook his head at him, indicating that the woman was not a good person. Junior sister, this quenching technique is the most fundamental skill in the sect, and the cultivation methods described in it are already detailed enough. If you don't understand it yet, you may not be able to connect with me, Tai. The disciple spoke truthfully, with reason and evidence. Then you can't just ignore it. The woman still refuses to let go. A group of people unconsciously stood behind her, looking at the two disciples with an unpleasant expression. That's right, the sect is here to teach us how to cultivate. What are you dragging? One of them murmured softly, but was overheard by the outer disciple. Pop. What are you saying? The disciple glared angrily. This woman will be able to enter the outer gate in a few days. If she has good qualifications, she may even enter the inner gate. They know they are mediocre and dare not provoke them, but these people who do not even understand the body-quenching technique dare to accuse them. Startled by him, everyone dared not speak and looked at the woman. You're going too far. The woman let out a furious shout, and then her spiritual power was running around her, clearly in a fit of rage. What a Virgin Mary! Yi Wusheng shook his head slowly and then spoke slowly. The practice of the body-quenching technique by the sect is already a screening process. If you pass the assessment taught by your senior brother, is it considered cheating? Is it unfair to other disciples? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone looked at Yi Wusheng in shock, and even the young girl turned around with a bewildered expression on her face. Yes. The eyes of those two external disciples lit up. This reason is simply perfect. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +10. The reputation value of 10 points is naturally provided by that girl. Yi Wusheng smiled slightly, feeling a sense of satisfaction in his heart. To gain reputation, he had to do something. Humph, even a naturally bloodless useless person dares to speak up here. You have no hope of cultivating immortality yourself, so you just want to drag us all down. How vicious. Not bad, but it's a pity that such a little person has blinded this pair of skin bags. Those people dared not criticize external disciples, but seeing Yi Wusheng as an ordinary person, all their emotions poured down and they glared angrily one by one. Yi Wusheng's face remained unchanged. He knew too much about human nature. Although small people may be sad, they have even more detestable qualities. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Still, these dozens of reputation points are really worth it. This person looks annoying, brothers, beat him up. I don't know who shouted, but a group of people rushed forward. Wusheng's face remained unchanged, and he kicked the leader away with one kick. Bang! The person flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground, spitting blood from his mouth and his face full of fear. Peak physical training in the quenching state. Wusheng spoke lightly. All the anger on their faces instantly turned into fear, and one by one they refused to step forward. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Great. How do you beat people? The sect prohibits mutual harm, don't you know? The woman immediately rushed up and shouted at Wusheng. Wusheng frowned and looked at her coldly. What's your name? The woman hesitated for a moment, then held her head in chest high, White Lotus. No wonder. Wusheng pursed his lips and looked disdainful. Don't stand up, it's hard to distinguish between the positive and negative sides. What are you saying? Bai Lian glared angrily, and Wusheng was too lazy to entangle with such people. He directly crossed her and arched his hands and clenched his fists at the two outer disciples. Senior brothers, that person provoked me first, and I had no choice but to take action. Please testify to me. There is indeed this matter. Don't worry, junior brother. If the sect asks questions, I will take on the responsibility together. Two outer disciples were clapping their chests. Wusheng has also helped them a favor, so naturally he cannot fall into the trap. You bully the weak and act in collusion. Bai Lian was on the side groaning, and Wusheng left directly. By the way, little virgin. Wusheng walked outside the door and stopped for a moment. If you're idle and have nothing to do, why don't you teach them to practice on your own? After speaking, Wusheng left gracefully. Reputation value +20. Wusheng smiled at the corners of his lips. With so many lucky sons, it's really becoming more and more interesting. Bai Lian stood still, then looked around, everyone's eyes burning at her, making her scalp tingle. Suddenly, the woman's eyes lit up. By the way, you all come with me, my brother Lin Fan is eager for justice and will definitely teach you how to practice. Wusheng's hearing was sharp, but when he heard this, his footsteps stopped. If you say that, then I won't leave. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. New ways to obtain reputation values. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bai Lian, led by a group of people, marched towards the wooden house where Lin Fan lived in a grand manner. Wusheng slowly followed behind. Brother Lin Fan. Upon arriving at the door, Bai Lian changed her usual demeanor, her voice soft and shy with a hint of shyness. Did we get together so quickly? Wusheng frowned slightly, but there was no surprise at all about it. After all, it is normal for Lin Fan and Bai Lian, as the son of Qi Luck, to have a mutual affection. After calling for a while without anyone answering, Bai Lian's face changed slightly, and then gritted her teeth. I must have gone to find that fox spirit again. With this in mind, Bai Lian quickly left, and everyone saw her angrily leave for a moment without knowing what to do. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and keep up. If you don't pass the sect assessment, you will be expelled from the mountain gate. Wusheng said lightly. Right. Hurry up. Hurry up. Follow up. A group of people, Wu Yang and Wu Yang, chased after them. Not long after, I heard Bai Lian's crying voice. Brother Lin Fan, why are you looking for this fox spirit again? You can really do it. Wusheng observed a moment of silence for Lin Fan in his heart. Lin Fan's face changed, and then he spoke very seriously, "You're not allowed to say that to Miss Dongfang." Bai Lian flicked her small mouth, and then tears instantly filled her eyes. "You yell at me." Upon seeing this, Lin Fan sighed and softened his heart. He walked forward and grabbed Bai Lian's arm. "Let's go and talk to another place." "You go away." Bai Lian shook off his palm and tears streamed down her face. "You've never treated me like this before, and today you're yelling at me." Lin Fan took a deep breath and then spoke softly. "I'm sorry, it's my fault." But Bai Lian didn't listen at all and said to herself, "Do you know how much I have done for you? I personally ran out to summon those disciples who were unable to cultivate in order for Brother Lin Fan to establish his reputation in the sect and have you guide them in their cultivation." As she spoke, she reached out her hand and saw hundreds of people waiting quietly behind her, constantly running towards her. So many people. Lin Fan's face turned black, asking me to teach a group of useless cultivators. Am I free? Do you know how much effort I put in? I'm doing this for who? Bai Lian became more and more excited as she spoke, unable to stop crying. Good acting skills. Yi Wusheng gave a secret thumbs up just at this moment. Reputation value +1. Reputation value +1. Thank you. Another group of people ran over, and the leader thanked Yi Wusheng. The people behind him were all like this. Along the way, Yi Wusheng kept spreading news, and he was immensely credited with bringing so many people. Fortunately, the acquisition of reputation did not disappoint him. I have worked hard to plan for Brother Lin Fan's future and help you smoothly ascend to the throne of the Holy Sun. What are you doing? You secretly searched for this fox spirit yourself. You have disappointed me so much. Bai Lian became more and more excited as she spoke, her body trembling slightly. Lin Fan's face changed and he quickly covered her mouth. Shut up. Also mentioning the position of the Holy Sun, and saying that Dongfang Qing'er is a fox spirit. Lin Fan even had the urge to slap her to death. Without time to explain, Lin Fan pulled Bai Lian and quickly left, disappearing in front of everyone. When he passed by Yi Wusheng's side, Lin Fan saw him at a glance. Reputation value +99. This is killing me again. It's still easy for the Son of Luck to brush reputation points. Yi Wusheng looked indifferent, as the two were already at odds and there was no need to ease their relationship. What are you waiting for? Why don't you hurry up and chase after me? Yi Wusheng reminded the stunned crowd again, and only then did they react and quickly walked towards the place where Lin Fan lived. Before long, there was only Yi Wusheng left here. My own men have all run away with others. Is Dongfang, as the main wife of the Eastern Palace, so indifferent? There is also a Son of Luck here, and it's hard to justify not getting some reputation points. Anyway, they are all people related to Lin Fan, and Yi Wusheng has no sense of guilt when mocking them. However, the imagined reputation value did not appear. Squeak. The door opened and Dongfang Qing'er walked out in a blue long dress. Although he had seen it before, Yi Wusheng was still amazed by Dongfang Qing'er's appearance. Her eyebrows and eyes were picturesque, truly a breathtaking beauty. She was cold and aloof like a fairy descending to the mortal world, with a slender figure that could not be enveloped by her blue long skirt. He finally understood why Lin Fan was pursuing Dongfang Qing'er so hard. Such a stunning woman is rare in the world. I have no grudges or grievances with young Master Yi. Why did young Master Yi humiliate me so much? Dongfang Qing'er's face was calm, and her voice was cold as if she was standing 1,000 miles away. Yi Wusheng did not expect this person to be so calm and composed, with a restrained expression of cynicism on his face, and a face as heavy as water. Is it because you almost lost your life, Yi? This is called no injustice, no hatred. Dongfang Qing'er's face remained unchanged as she listened quietly. For you arrogant people, the lives of ordinary people are as cheap as grass. If you just give me one more glance, then Lin Fan will take my life. How domineering. If it weren't for the profound fortune, Yi would have been a corpse now. Yi Wusheng slowly spoke up, his gaze calmly fixed on Dongfang Qing'er. Dongfang Qing'er's gaze twitched slightly before nodding lightly, I see. If young Master Yi dies because of me, it's my fault. Yi Wusheng's gaze was genuine, and Dongfang Qing'er's gaze was clear, not as if she was fake. Reputation value plus 99. What kind of ghost is this? Does Dongfang Qing'er also have a murderous heart towards me? Dongfang Qing'er's liking for Lin Fan has decreased, and the host's influence on the luck of the son of Qi luck has resulted in a reputation value of 99. Is this okay too? Yi Wusheng raised his eyebrows. Lin Fan is really a reliable big male lead. Can he gain so much reputation by slightly affecting his fortune? Yi Wusheng secretly calculated to himself that there were many ways to deal with Lin Fan. With this in mind, Yi Wusheng arched his hand and clenched his fist at Dongfang Qing'er. It seems that Dongfang Miss was not aware, but it was Yi who was presumptuous. Dongfang Qing'er's face remained unchanged, she nodded lightly and returned directly to the room. When Yi Wusheng arrived at Lin Fan's residence, hundreds of people had already gathered outside, all eagerly looking at the door. Before long, the door opened and Lin Fan walked out. Looking at the increasing number of people in front of him, Lin Fan's face turned black. Take a deep breath and then slowly speak. Follow me to the square. The crowd was furious, as if they had caught a life-saving straw. In 5 days, I will be able to enter the outer door and stay away from these fools. Lin Fan thought to himself. Before long, Bai Lian walked out of the room, her eyes turning red. Little virgin. Yi Wusheng's voice filled with mockery rang out. Bai Lian stared at him with an unfriendly gaze. Reputation value plus 10. Yi Wusheng shook his head regretfully and said, no wonder you're far behind Dongfang Qing'er. After speaking, he hummed a tune and turned around to leave. Reputation value plus 99. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. I have no idle burden. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As a latecomer, Yi Wusheng is well aware of people like Bai Lian. Not to mention the Virgin Mary's heart, her jealousy is also extremely strong. The typical one who gets involved is unlucky. Let Lin Fan enjoy it slowly. Bai Lian stood still, looking indignantly at the back of Yi Wusheng's departure, with a gloomy and terrifying expression on her face. Half a day has passed, and Lin Fan is on the brink of collapse. How do I tie this horse stance? Isn't it the same for me to be a little taller? This stone is too heavy, can we exchange it for a lighter one? Can you pass on your skills directly to me? Anyway, you're a genius and can practice quickly. On the martial arts arena, complaints echoed one after another, and Lin Fan's face turned black like the bottom of a pot. Bai Lian followed behind him and kept wiping his sweat. Senior brother Lin Fan, do you really want to become a saint? Shut up. Lin Fan's forehead was bulging with veins, wishing he could tear that person's mouth apart. Brother Lin Fan, they are also well-intentioned. Are you a bit patient? Bai Lian murmured softly on the side, pulling his arm to act coquettishly. Lin Fan didn't want to say a word more now, he was afraid that one could not help but punch the person's head. Yo, everyone is practicing. A light laugh came, and Yi Wusheng slowly swayed over. How about the coach I found for you? Is it okay? Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Many people looked at Yi Wusheng with gratitude. After all, this was the opportunity given by the other party. The service attitude is too bad. I don't know who whispered a word, but many people agreed. Service. Poor attitude. Lin Fan's heart lit up, and he flashed up to the person. He grabbed his throat with one hand and lifted it up. What are you saying? The anger in Lin Fan's heart could no longer be suppressed. Brother Lin Fan, don't do this. Bai Lian timidly shouted from the side, her eyes filled with begging and fear. Humph, something unknowable. Lin Fan threw the person to the ground and then looked at Yi Wusheng with an unfriendly gaze. It's all your fault. Reputation value plus 99. How many times do you have to kill your heart this day? Yi Wusheng didn't take it seriously and glanced at Bai Lian, saying, I don't have such a big deal to do. It's all thanks to junior sister Bai Lian. Who is your junior sister? Brother Lin Fan is my senior brother. Bai Lian gave a coquettish scolding, which was completely different from her attitude towards Lin Fan. Seeing this, Lin Fan's face looked slightly better. Since everyone thinks that Lin Fan's teaching is not good, and this junior brother is also at the peak of the quenching state, I think it's appropriate for him to teach. Lin Fan sneered and then walked out. I'll see how you pick it up. Yi Wusheng glanced around and saw everyone looking at him with hopeful faces. Okay. How could he miss such a good opportunity to boost his reputation? Let's go. Lin Fan spoke lightly. But Bai Lian still wants to speak. There's nothing wrong with it. After speaking, Lin Fan didn't turn his head and walked towards the wooden house. The most important thing in practicing the body-quenching technique is to be able to endure hardship. Yi Wusheng walked casually in the crowd, then saw a lazy and leisurely horse-stomping person who kicked him from behind. Bang! That person flew several meters straight out before falling down, and his bones and head seemed to be falling apart. Practice well. Everyone was shocked. You. Why are you like this? Yi Wusheng walked up to him and without saying a word, slapped him in the face. Pop. The voice was crisp, and blood immediately flowed from the corner of the person's mouth. How dare you? Pop. Be careful, I'll tell you. Pop. After 3 consecutive slaps, the person's face swelled up and both teeth were knocked out. This is my unique cultivation technique. You don't need to do anything, just stand up obediently. You can get started in less than half a month. Yi Wusheng fell silent and punched and kicked the person. Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Everyone seemed petrified, constantly brushing his reputation. I think I should practice on my own. Someone swallowed a mouthful of saliva, their eyes filled with fear, and then quietly backed away. Stop. Yi Wusheng gave a cold shout and saw that the person's legs and stomach were trembling, running out like crazy, but where did he run past Yi Wusheng? Taking 2 breaths, the person's body was thrown back to its original position, and he was thrown into a mess. Everyone unconsciously gathered together, watching Yi Wusheng tremble. Yi Wusheng is very satisfied with their performance. Lin Fan has an idle burden, but he is a villain. Why do I want so much favor from you? What I want is reputation value. Make me struggle to please you all. I want to eat my butt. Lin Fan wants to be the holy son of the sect, but I don't want to. I won't care about your life or death. Yi Wusheng spoke indifferently. A group of people looked at the young man lying in the pool of blood, trembling with fear. Following their gaze, Yi Wusheng smiled slightly. Although he looks quite miserable, he is indeed quite seriously injured. Everyone. What's this called? Can't we tell if he's miserable or not? But if he can persist, he will definitely be the first to break through the quenching state. You. Who wants to give it a try? Yi Wusheng scanned around with a playful expression on his face, and everyone shook their heads. Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Reputation value plus 1. Another few hundred reputation values have been credited. It seems that you don't like me. Yi Wusheng shook his head with some regret, and then his face darkened. But think about it, if you can't break through in a year, you still have to leave the sect. No one knows whether you will die or live then. Think about it this way, can't you even bear this hardship? The emotions of everyone were easily stirred by him, even when many people's eyes became firm. After a long silence, just as everyone was doing psychological construction, and even many people were making up their minds, Yi Wusheng spoke again. Let me teach or let Lin Fan teach, you choose one. Yi Wusheng's words were resounding and unquestionable, and everyone blurted out without even thinking. Lin Fan. Yi Wusheng shook his head regretfully. He may not be willing to teach you, if he doesn't come, I will teach you one by one. After speaking, he turned around and left. Leave a group of people looking at each other. Humph, he's being bullied too much. I'm going to the sect to sue him.